Hello, everybody. I'm Brooks,
I'm Joe.
and this is the second episode of Cantina Reviews Barside Chats.
Yes, this is our podcast show.
Ooh.
Where we just ramble about stuff.
Yes.
Pretty much. Because we always do it in our videos, but then we cut it out. So here we are. This is our second episode.
What are we rambling about today, Joe?
Yeah, today we are rambling about a lot. So basically just a very general overview. You know, what's the deal? Why is Marvel so much more successful than DC right now?
I feel like because when I picture Marvel, I picture red. When I picture DC, I picture blue. And I feel like people like red more than blue.
Thank you for joining us on the second episode.
Thank you for joining us today. That'll be it, because people like red more than blue.
Because you got it. Because
I hit it right on the head.
You hit it right on the head. That's it.
I got it.
That's it. And we're talking like as far as like the Marvel universe versus the DC universe. Not like the Dark Knight, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Dark Knight trilogy is amazing.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say like we're gonna dive into like characters to in particular. It's gonna be more of like the movies and kind of how they were shot, who was in it, like things like that.
Right.
So yeah, let's kick it off.
I mean,
shall we?
obviously, right off the bat, like Marvel took their time.
Yeah.
They established characters, and you were dying to see them in one movie together. And then the Avengers finally came out, and it was gigantic.
Yes.
And it's just gotten bigger and bigger since then.
But with that enlarging growth, what we were given in the end, kind of now, is their formula now is to just make it funny for families.
Yeah.
There's not anything wrong with that, but I feel like I feel like the listeners kind of know our distaste for Ragnarok. I just feel like, it was like that rule of three with the jokes, where it's like, okay, we got the joke 3 times. Eventually, it's just gonna not be funny.
Yeah.
And then, it was kind of like every scene there was some kind of joke that had to be had, and I feel like you don't need that because it wasn't originally like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I feel like that's just the formula now. Is like, how many jokes can we throw in because people love these characters and they like them being?
Well,
funny.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, look, obviously, like, people will sometimes complain, like, oh, yeah, Ragnarok was too jokey. All these movies are too jokey. I mean, they started saying that in Ultron. Because I remember, like, they're flying around the worlds about the end and, like, they're cracking jokes and, like, all that stuff. And, like, people complain about that, but it's never, like a deal breaker. Like, these movies make all the money and everyone generally likes them.
Right.
Unlike DC. But as I was, like, what I was trying to get at is, like, Marvel, like, spent the time building up where DC was like, okay, we're going to do Man of Steel, and then we're going to do Batman vs. Superman. And, like, there's been no movie yet with Batman. And there's only been one bad movie with Superman.
Right, which is crazy to think because, like, Batman originally was... People loved it. People love those movies. Yeah. So to start a new Batman off without his own movie before you go into showing him is a little risky.
I feel like the obvious idea would have been for Man of Steel just to be the 4th movie in the franchise and just go off of the Dark Knight trilogy. Because, like, it wouldn't change anything. Because, like, in Batman vs. Superman, Ben Affleck's Batman is this, like, old, like, kind of, like, beaten down,
been there, done that,
worn out Batman. And, like, if you have Christian Bale doing it after we already saw 3 movies and a bunch of shit go down, like, you would get why he's so, like, worn out.
Right.
So, like, just have the Dark Knight trilogy, then Man of Steel, then Batman vs. Superman.
Right.
If you really wanted to do it like that. But, like, I don't really know why they didn't do that. I remember hearing that Christian Bale would have done that.
I don't like how the movies start with DC. We are shown the title scene, then we're instantly thrown into a backstory bio on whoever we're watching.
Suicide Squad and Justice League did that.
I know, and it's like, you're talking about these characters for either 20 minutes each, or you're talking about them for 3 seconds each.
Yeah. Well, it's like Suicide Squad gives you a, like, 25-minute montage where you're introduced to, like, 15 characters.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. You get, like, 3 seconds per character, and there's 20 characters. Whereas, Justice League, they explain the characters a little bit, and it's like 20 minutes per character, and then the actual movie is like 45 minutes.
Right.
The first hour has been introducing the Justice League.
The actual Justice League part feels really short. They do like two things.
Exactly.
They do like the when they're in that like silo thing, the first fight.
Right.
Then God knows what happens next because I don't remember. But and then the big final battle.
I think that's when I fell asleep.
Oh, they awaken Superman and they fight him real quick.
Oh, that's right.
And then
that's stupid.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember when I fell asleep during that.
Yeah. Well, now like they're like because Marvel has all the jokes all the time, but they're still successful. Then like Justice League tried to be funny.
Or like I didn't hate Ragnarok. I thought it was too funny, but it doesn't mean that I hated it.
Yeah.
Whereas like DC movies, I hate most of them. Like I hated Suicide Squad.
I really like Wonder Woman, and that's it. And then
only redeeming movie.
The fact that Wonder Woman was so good made me dislike Justice League even more because Wonder Woman was amazing, and Justice League, as far as her role, was not knowing anything and just a close up of her ass.
Yes.
Which we talked about in our review of it, and it's like you have relegated your best character currently to
a typical
eye candy.
Yeah,
and like she's a beautiful woman. You don't have to do anything to make her seem like eye candy.
Exactly,
she just is. But like in her role in Wonder Woman, she is also an awesome character that has a lot of depth and does a lot of stuff. Right, and none of that happens.
No, it's forgotten about. It's like, oh look, that's Wonder Woman.
And it's because it's because two different people made it. And they didn't think Wonder Woman was going to be as big as it was.
Right.
And then it was, and it was too late. They actually, apparently they put more Wonder Woman in Justice League. So somehow there was less of her in the movie. And I'm assuming it's that scene in the beginning when she fights those guys in that bank or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was added later.
Yeah, that could be it. It's like, so everybody's like, oh, look, it's Wonder Woman. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like, I don't like these intro scenes for DC.
It's like
is there intro montage
where Marvel did entire movies to introduce you to a character?
Right.
They're doing these dumb montage things.
See, so the thing with Marvel, what they did a true like origin story for all of their characters, all of them, except Black Panther, because that was a little different. He was already introduced in a movie, and then they gave him
that was interesting
his own movie.
It was he got like his origin essentially in Civil War. It's like that was interesting. It's like. And I think they're going to do a Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel's in Infinity War, but we haven't seen her yet.
Okay.
But, like, Black Panther was given his origin in Civil War, and they essentially were like, let's get the origin story out of the way.
So we could it's already done, so let's give him
a Black Panther movie.
Yeah. But yeah, like, Marvel kind of spent their time making origin stories, whereas I feel like the DC movies aren't, like, even Man of Steel, like, I guess you could say it's an origin story. But it was just good. Odd, yeah.
It was like super dark.
Yeah.
And like no fun at all.
And then we're giving Batman vs Superman a group movie. We're giving Suicide Squad a group movie. We're giving Justice League a group movie. And then you have 2 origin stories, and we have 3 group movies.
Wonder Woman was an origin story, and it was great. It was so much better than all the other ones.
Right, and then we're giving Man of Steel another origin story.
Right.
But we're not giving Batman, Aquaman, Cyborg, like. We're not given those origin stories. We're just already thrown into
and then
a group movie.
like they're trying to pack them all into Justice League. And
it's like they want the event. They want to have the success of the Avengers
now
in DC right now.
Yeah,
but they weren't building their group yet. And like Suicide Squad, a group movie.
So I was curious about recently. I was curious about why didn't they start earlier? Why didn't they just do it?
Yeah,
and apparently Justice League and Wonder Woman and new Superman and stuff like that have been in the works forever. Do you remember that Superman Returns movie? Kevin Spacey was Lex Luthor.
I do, but that was...
It didn't do well. It wasn't very good. That was supposed to be the start of their universe, back then.
And that's probably because it didn't
do well.
And it
didn't do well.
Hey.
And then there was that infamous writer strike that, every modern show you could think of, Lost, 24.
Yeah, I remember that
now. House, everything, all these shows, we watched, when we were slightly younger.
Yeah.
Had, these, their season 3 or 4 would be really short. Because, this infamous writer's strike that affected, everything ever. But there was, all those movies were in the works, Justice League, all that kind of stuff. And then, never happened. And they just kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed, or scrapped, or whatever. And then they finally did the Batman Begins movie and stuff like that.
Right.
But, I was why didn't they hop on that train earlier? And they were trying to.
and I just never worked out.
And just didn't work out.
Because, yeah, that's my thing. It's like, now they're like, oh, crap, look what Marvel's doing. We got to go, guys.
Right. But
and then they're making the Justice
You're just too far
League.
behind.
Yeah.
And basically, like, you should be thinking of it as, like... And what's interesting, too, like, Justice League was supposed to be a two-parter. They've already scrapped that idea.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. Now it's in one part, and now it's it. They might not ever do a Justice League again.
Right.
Because, like, here's what they should have considered. Like, yes, Marvel is so far ahead of you. You want that success of the Avengers right now. You want Justice League to be the biggest thing ever. But if you play the long game, it's going to be worth it in the end.
Right.
Like, you can dominate the next decade with the Justice League.
Exactly.
And spend this one building up these characters.
Right.
But they didn't.
Yeah, instead, what they did was they jumped in Marvel's hole without a ladder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
So it's like, oh, crap, they're at this Avengers. We now have to make this movie.
Right.
But we can't backtrack and make these origin movies because no one's going to give a shit.
Right. Because now even like, there's an Aquaman movie coming out this year.
Yeah, I think I remember
that no one talks about.
Yeah.
But, like, I've already heard rumors that that's a team-up movie, too. Or that they'll do a Flash and it's a team-up. Or they'll do, you know...
Yeah, it's going to be hard for them to make origin stories
Right.
now. Because they already kind of have scrapped that idea. It's like we made Superman, then we made Batman vs. Superman, then we made Wonder Woman, right? Isn't that how it went? Yeah, and then we're going to make Justice League, and then everything's going to have to be a group movie.
Well, Suicide Squad was after Batman vs. Superman.
Oh, I forget that.
Yeah.
I know all the cult people.
Well, then even
like, how could you forget Suicide Squad?
What's interesting is, like, Batman vs. Superman, like, did all this world building that they just forgot about. Like, the whole nightmare vision thing, which was probably the best part of Batman vs. Superman, where, like, the world is, like, a post-apocalyptic and there's the dark side or dark seed, whatever, symbol, and, like, all the paratrooper things, and, like, Superman's evil. And, like, they kind of touched on those slightly in Justice League, but it never panned out to, like, what it was supposed to be.
Right.
Like, they had all this great setup, and, like, Batman vs. Superman production-wise looked way better than Justice League. And, like, yeah, like, this whole nightmare scenario, this post-apocalyptic looking world, they just didn't do it. It was, like, all this setup, and they didn't do it. It was just a CGI, purple, whatever.
So, like, if you think, like...
And then Superman is bad for, like, a second because he just woke up.
Yeah. He woke up and he was cranky.
Yeah.
So we had an origin story of Man vs. Steel. Or not vs. Steel, Man of Steel.
Yeah.
And then it went into Batman vs. Superman, where we were introduced to Wonder Woman.
Yes.
And then the Wonder Woman not origin story, but the I don't know. The Wonder Woman movie was good.
Yes.
Black Panther, we were introduced to Black Panther already, and Black Panther was good. So could we possibly say the same for Aquaman? We've already seen him, and the movie's going to be great?
It could be.
Or they're just going to make some kind of group movie with the tagline and it's about Aquaman, but everybody's in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, Man vs. Steel sucked. But we were already introduced to Wonder Woman, and her movie was great.
Yeah.
Black Panther, Batman vs. Superman. What am I saying?
Man vs. Steel.
Holy shit.
Man vs. Steel.
Yeah, Man vs. Steel was bad, but then in Batman vs. Superman, we were introduced to Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman was good.
Well, even then, like, talk about, like, just, like, wasting great stuff, like, Doomsday being in Batman vs. Superman for, like, 5 seconds and wasting it. Like, that's, like a big comic book storyline, the death of Superman. And, like, that should have been the Justice League movie.
Yeah, instead it was just... that was it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's dead.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And everyone's, like, speculating, that wasn't really Doomsday. It was, like, Frank and Zod. Zod turned into a Frankenstein type thing. Shut up. It was Doomsday.
Shut your
They call it Doomsday in the movie. It's dumb, what's his name? Lex Luthor.
Skinny Lex Luthor.
Yeah. What's his name? Jesse Eisenberg. Is that his name?
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, the best part of
weird kid.
The best part of Justice League was the end credit scene when I thought they recast Lex Luthor.
Oh yeah.
And he walks into the cell and it's a bald guy. And I was like, they recast Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Yes. And he turns around and it's not him. And then it's just stupid Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, he just looks like a skinny idiot.
But anyway, let's talk about Marvel a little more.
Yeah, I guess we could.
Yeah.
We already beat them. Oh, no, you know what we were talking about? Yeah, Marvel's great, whatever. Can DC even save itself?
Oh, well, yeah, let's talk about...
By bringing in, like, possibly The Rock.
Let's talk about The Rock. We were talking about The Rock. We did a video about The Rock.
We did.
And it seems like, like, The Rock is who you bring in to save your franchise. And, like, it seems like DC is doing the Hail Mary, trying to bring in The Rock.
I hope they don't ruin him, though. Because they brought in... I feel like... You know, like when you have Jared Leto and Will Smith now part of your universe, like, shouldn't that be enough?
Right.
But now you're going to bring in The Rock, and it's like, are you going to bring him down too?
Yeah, Will Smith should have been enough to make it a great movie.
Exactly, and he wasn't. So, The Rock could save it as far as bringing in money, but I don't know if he's going to make the movie great.
Well, if you throw The Rock... So he's supposed to be Black Adam.
He's
supposed to be Black Adam in Shazam. But he might be in Suicide Squad too. Mm-hmm.
If he is Black Adam.
Right, that's like a ploy to like, okay, you hated Suicide Squad, but come see the second one because The Rock's in it.
Exactly. So then now they're going to make a whole Shazam movie with him in it.
Yeah.
So they could just put him in Suicide Squad too.
No, it'll be the other way around because that's how they always...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, instead
he'll be
just
introduced in Suicide Squad 2.
And they'll introduce him for 5 seconds in Suicide Squad 2 and then make him his whole movie.
We were also talking about, like, how is it that Marvel didn't steal The Rock yet?
Right, because The Rock is now kind of... He's already done a few movies with Disney.
Yeah.
You know, he's kind of gearing himself towards, like, a younger audience to kind of not stay relevant, but to kind of...
Yeah, like Jumanji, yeah.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like a more, like, family type of movie actor. Kind of like Adam Sandler did, but not to where he's going to fail like Adam Sandler did.
And do 10 terrible Netflix movies in a row.
Exactly.
When's the last time Adam Sandler had a good movie?
Never.
Well, that's the thing. It's like... as like 90s people, you remember his old ones being good, and then they'll be on like USA, and it's like, oh, this isn't that good.
Yeah, this is not that good. And people will, you know, flame us for not saying that. What was the movie where the kids eating ketchup and Scuba Steve?
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy. How can I not remember that?
I like Big Daddy.
I like Big Daddy too, but I'm sure everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, they hated every movie."
Yeah, these Marvel fanboys
also hate all Adam Sandler movies.
You know what I liked?
Waterboy.
Huh? Waterboy, I remember Waterboy. Spanglish.
That was a good one.
He was good in that movie.
I did not mind that one.
Yeah.
Did you see The Cobbler on Netflix?
No.
My God.
I watched I don't even remember the name of it. I watched about 45 minutes of the one. It's him and David Spade, and he's like a ex-CIA agent or something that like they like fake their own deaths and like something. It was terrible. It was like he did this Netflix deal. It was like the first or second movie in that, and it was just horrible.
The Cobbler is awful. It is it's called The Cobbler. It's terrible.
It's called
it better have ice cream on it. Anyway, yeah, I think The Rock is going to be successful in his Adam Sandlerizing himself.
Yeah.
But it is odd that Disney has not just completely locked him down.
Well, I was saying before, like they're setting up. They were setting up Adam Warlock with Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Mm-hmm. Oh, make it The Rock.
Yeah, could have made him.
Yeah.
It's...
Or DC, what I said before. Why isn't DC making him Green Lantern?
Yeah, like a hero. Instead you're going to make him a villain.
Yeah.
Which even then, like Fast and Furious, he was a villain and then he became, like, working with them.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's, like, completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how Disney hasn't locked him down, and I don't know why DC hasn't just made him a hero. Like, why are you going to make him a villain? I'm tired.
Yeah. Yeah, make him Green Lantern and do like a million movies with him.
Yeah, I don't know how you couldn't.
Yeah.
You're going to defame The Rock now?
Defame The Rock.
You're going to bring him into DC and ruin his career.
The Rock's in like every other movie nowadays, and DC's going to ruin him.
Yeah, they're going to make him a villain.
So what happened to Will Smith? What do you do next? Bright.
Oh my God, no! I just realized that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've ruined Will Smith. So yeah, they're going to bring in The Rock. He's going to be an unlikable villain. And then he's going to just fail because no one's going to like the movie anyway.
Yeah. I can't... All these Marvel fanboys that love Marvel.
Whatever Rock movie the DC is in.
The DC is...
Whatever DC movie The Rock is in is going to be the highest grossing DC movie in this franchise because people are going to want to see The Rock, but then it's just going to tail
Think
off.
about this, though. They just start things and they drop them.
Yeah,
there still has not technically been a second Superman movie.
Yeah,
They did Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and Justice League. There's still there's no Man of Steel 2 in sight.
Yeah,
and then there's they have 50 Joker movies planned with all different Jokers. I swear, I don't know what's happening.
I think
they're forget about the extended universe. Just forget about it.
Yeah, I think they're gonna start playing to the only fan base that truly cares about their movies, and that is the Harley Quinners, the Deadshoters, the Joker.
They're doing that whatever, Gotham City, whatever. It's like
Oh,
female
yeah.
version of Suicide Squad because people liked Harley Quinn.
Right.
So they're just going to try that again.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, oh, you know what, that might be a formula we could try out.
Right.
I think that's what I'm starting to notice is that they're scrambling for a formula.
Yes.
They don't know what movie to make, but the next one they're gonna make is gonna be the one that the fans have just kind of previously liked.
Which is, again, something Marvel's ahead of the curve on. Because they made a formula. Their movies became pretty formulaic.
Right.
And then they were able, because they had so much leeway, to do something crazy like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
And now they've really started to expand.
Yeah, is it them just getting lucky?
Maybe.
They don't truly know it's going to hit,
I don't
but
think
it
they
just does.
thought Guardians was going to be such a hit.
Right.
I really don't think so. It was like a risk. Like, it was like characters like honestly no one knew about.
Right.
People will pretend that they did, but like they probably didn't.
Yeah.
And like they knew it was weird, but they just went for it. And then now since then they just try all this stuff and it's always hits.
Yeah, it's just always good,
Yeah.
which like is my thing too. Like they probably just have a sub formula that manages to work in every movie,
Right.
where the main formula changes.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I feel like DC at this point is just grasping for whatever they can.
Well, they're also
It's like we need to gain traction. Okay, they're making Age of they're making Infinity Wars. Let's put out Justice League a few months before that.
yeah.
And it's like let's just make it.
Well,
We
the
don't
prime
care.
example of that is they're doing Civil War. Let's do Batman vs Superman.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh god, they like Wonder Woman. We need to put more Wonder Woman in Justice League right before it comes out now.
Oh shit! They liked Wonder Woman.
Yeah, exactly.
We thought that was going to be the bad one.
Yeah, and then
The
now they're
rest of
just changing all of their movies. They're changing their lineups. They don't
That's
know
the
what
thing,
they're doing.
They're like they like go in too deep every time with what they're trying to do. So it's like, they shot Justice League. It was probably a bleak, dark disaster. Then they brought in Joss Whedon to fix it.
Yeah.
And they were like, make this the Avengers. Because he did the Avengers.
Right.
So then they tried to make Justice League funny, and they oversaturated the colors to make it look brighter.
Yep.
And it's like, they went too far. Now you're trying to make it too funny.
Right.
Like, you're trying too hard every time.
Exactly.
But then
And,
also,
I think
like...
them being funny wasn't funny.
No.
Like, I didn't laugh.
No.
I don't know. I was
The
just
jokes
like,
landed.
sad.
The
Yeah.
jokes, I was sad.
I was sad because I was in this movie.
The jokes landed, like, really flat. No one laughed in the theater.
Thank God my movie pass worked for that one. Because I would have been pissed.
Yeah. Well, and then, like, now, like, you're hearing that, like, which is so upsetting because, like, Wonder Woman was really good. The villain in Wonder Woman 2 is going to be Kristen Wiig.
You're going to bring in an actress that's typically known for comedy to not be a comedic actress.
To be a DC villain.
Yeah.
That isn't, like, Harley Quinn joking around, I guess. But,
Exactly. Yeah, why would you not just make
not
it
that she
her?
could be Harley Quinn, I wouldn't say
No,
that.
but I could see it more than not... I could see it more than her playing some kind of serious villain,
Right.
as opposed to just being a funny
Yeah,
character.
and even then, I just feel like, I don't know, it's like, for me, like, it feels like you would just be taken out of the element with her as...
Exactly. So, like,
Like-
when you bring in Chris Pratt and Paul Rudd, you're not you're expecting them to be funny, and they were.
Yeah.
They played funny characters.
Yeah.
They made jokes. They
Yeah.
did funny things, but not out of their character, not overly done.
Right.
Meanwhile, you're probably going to bring in Kristen Wiig to play a serious villain.
Right, because, like, Wonder Woman was a pretty serious movie. It was just good, and that's why it worked. There were funny moments, like with her, like, adapting to the outside world.
Right.
And it was, like, but it wasn't, like, forced comedy.
Exactly.
But, like, I don't know, I don't see how, like, she fits the vibe. It'll be
No,
weird.
she doesn't. Like, when I saw her in Mother, I was like,
Oh, yeah, I forgot she was in
I was like, oh, this will be like a funny movie, I guess, or like a creepy movie where she's in it, and the movie was none of the what the movie was bad.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It wasn't a comedy or anything. It was bad.
I mean, there are some actors and actresses that can do both, but, like, I just
She
haven't
cannot
been
do
convinced yet.
No.
So to throw her as a, like,
Same thing with Downsizing. She wasn't
Yeah.
even funny in that,
Right.
but I expected her with Jason Sudeikis in there to
Yeah.
be funny, and it wasn't.
right.
And I'm like, what are we doing to these Saturday Night Live characters or actors? They used to be
Right, like,
taken
yeah.
into funnier roles,
Yes.
and now they're not.
So, like, people don't think we hate women. Like, imagine if, like, okay, Man of Steel 2, the villain is going to be Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah, like, oh, this is gonna be funny.
You're right.
And it's not.
It's
It's
like,
just
what?
terrible.
Yeah.
oh yeah. No, this is supposed to be funny.
Well, it's
Right?
actually,
Yeah,
I mean,
bad.
it's just, like, another bad casting move. Like, again, like, yeah, Jesse Eisenberg is a terrible Lex Luthor.
yeah,
He, like,
I don't know
takes
why
you
you
out of
chose
the
that.
element. He's not a good Lex Luthor. Bryan Cranston should have been Lex Luthor.
Ooh, that would have been great.
Yeah.
Or Kevin Spacey. He's a bad guy now.
Well,
He plays like a good magician thief. That's what
He
I
was
see
like a
him
good
as.
magician thief once. not even in the sequel.
Yeah, no, he was bad.
Now you see me, and hopefully you don't have to see me ever.
Yeah, now hopefully you don't.
Because he's only good at being like the stuttering, like talking like
Yeah.
and like he just does that as Lex Luthor.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're just playing the same.
I think someone was
person
like, "Oh well, he's Lex Luthor's son. He's the real Lex Luthor's son." So like, why can't we have the better Lex Luthor?
Yeah, why can't we have the Lex Luthor?
Yeah.
Instead, we're given this garbage, which is, I think, what these movies are going to continue to be.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
they. What is a good sign is like what was a problem with them for a while was like they just continued to make billions of dollars anyway.
Yeah.
So like, why would they fix it if they're making all the money? Justice League like super underperformed at the box office. Like people just didn't see it.
Now that you bring that up, I think their formula was, if they're bad, it doesn't matter, we'll make money.
Right.
But now it's bad and people know it, they're not even going to spend their money to see it.
Mm.
So I think now that formula, if that was their formula, which I doubt it was, but it's believable.
Yeah.
If that was their formula, obviously now it's changing. Because, it's bad, but people will see that it's a superhero movie and they'll pay for it anyway.
Right.
But now they're like, no, like you make bad ones, and there's 3 Marvel movies this year.
Yeah.
So I'm going to save my money for those when yours have been ass paper at best. Like,
And now like, they have like a prime opportunity. Like Marvel is wrapping up surprisingly early this year.
Mm-hmm.
Black Panther already happened. Infinity Wars is next month, and Ant-Man is in July.
yeah,
So like DC could like rule the fall.
exactly.
And they won't.
Technically, anybody can rule the fall and
Because
winter.
Solo's in May.
Exactly. So there's no Star Wars, there's no Marvel.
Yeah.
Who's going to run that time period where, like,
The holiday,
no one
holiday
hits?
season.
Exactly, the holiday season, like, where award nominees can be made.
Yeah, Jumanji too.
Yeah, Jumanji 2 would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think, like, they're just kind of doomed. Like, I think at this point, like, they're just, floundering
It's been a
around,
lot
if
of
you will.
movies already. That's a lot of movies.
Yeah, it's a lot of movies. I feel like they're just flailing around on the deck of the ship, and they don't know what's going to happen.
Like they can't like figure out like there's like rumors every day like is Ben Affleck dropping out or not? Are they gonna do They're gonna do a Batman movie with him. They're not going to. They are. They don't.
Right.
And it's like he's already done 3.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's already done.
Well, he's been in
Wow.
3 movies.
Yeah, because he was in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
So he's already done 3.
Yeah, if you
None
count
of them
that.
were considered to be great.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, these aren't good.
yeah.
There's no promise of them getting better. And in all honesty, like, you and me, we can't be the only ones that have just lost faith in DC.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, I can say I only like Batman, and I hate everything else. Like,
Wonder Woman.
oh, no, I'm talking about, like, to pull as a general from DC. I'm talking about, like, they've ruined DC for me in general.
Oh no, I don't think so.
I think they have.
I'm upset because I do really think they have great characters and they have much better villains to work with than Marvel.
Right, it's just...
They just can't get it together.
Exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying, is they are going to ruin DC. Arkham games were great.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight trilogy was great.
Yeah.
You can't ruin those for me, but you can literally ruin everything else for me. Because I've always been invested in the Marvel characters, never really the DC characters other than Batman.
Yeah.
So if you're just making bad movies, you're not going to make me like DC characters.
See, that's my difference. I was like a Justice League fan of the cartoon, like as a kid. So it's like I would
Yeah,
love for it to be good.
cartoons were good.
Yeah, I would love for it to be good,
Mm-hmm.
but they just can't figure it out.
But yeah, after like our mid-childhood being raised with like Iron Man and Thor on the TV on whatever Saturday afternoon just because it was on
Yeah.
and just being put on in the background, like for me, that's why I like Marvel much more.
Yeah. Well, I was always like, super into Spider-Man comics as a kid. I liked Spider-Man a lot.
I feel like Spider-Man was like the superhero movies when we were kids.
It was, yeah.
There was nothing else.
Yeah.
I mean, you had crappy Supermans. And those Hulk movies, I don't even know when they came out, but they were terrible.
2003 one?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, I always thought there was an earlier one.
There was that one in 2003 that was just like whatever.
Yeah, it was trash.
And then they did the Incredible Hulk. That's like the only like screw up in the continuity of the MCU.
Yeah, and they just completely wrote them off.
The Incredible Hulk is still part of the MCU, but like they recast him,
Right.
which is odd.
Yeah, and they just completely...
Also, like, what's his name? Rhodey was recast, but no one cares about that.
Oh, yeah, no one gives a shit. No one really gives a shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's like I feel, the Hulk movies were bad, and they just pay no attention to them.
Yeah.
all the DC movies except Wonder Woman are bad, and they still talk about all of them.
Well, yeah, like I knew like when Wonder Woman was great and it was a big hit, I'm like it's too late for Justice League. Mm-hmm. It comes out in like 3 months. Mm-hmm. They're not gonna learn, and they're not gonna have time to fix it.
Yeah.
Based off of this movie, so like I loved Wonder Woman as the movie. I liked the movie. Like it didn't get my hopes up for Justice League because I was like, they don't have time to learn from this.
They should have what they should have done was They should have tested the waters. They're doing a risky thing by trying to release movies when Marvel's already so established.
Yeah.
They should have put out Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman, saw how it was doing, and then determine if they want to go with all these movies.
Should have done Wonder Woman next.
I mean,
forget about Suicide Squad. Don't release it.
Yeah, don't do it. But what they should have done is just tested the waters with 1 or 2 movies, see how they did. They did bad. They shouldn't have done anything and just attempted to restart from the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Like we've been saying, as far as start with origin stories first.
Yeah, but like you could like fixing 2 movies is much more salvageable than where they're at now.
Exactly.
So say they did Man of Steel, which was like now people are looking back at that more like in a positive light because like that's the best DCEU movie. And I'm like ugh, it was like so dark and serious. But say like they did Man of Steel, and then they did Batman vs Superman.
Right.
And the big complaint at the time was these are too dark. So where do you go from there? Mm-hmm. You have Man of Steel, you have Batman vs Superman. Do Wonder Woman. Do Man of Steel 2. Do the Batman.
Yeah.
Then if you really wanted to, you could do a Justice League or just do The Flash, Aquaman, Cyborg. Do
Keep
all
doing
the solo
origin
movies,
tales, yeah.
and then finally do Justice League.
Right. Like I feel like they at this point
and also have Batman vs Superman just be Batman vs Superman and save Doomsday for the Justice League.
Right. Yeah, I feel like it just they've put out too much too soon.
Yeah.
And you're right. Now at this point, it's going to be hard to save because there is so much out already that was bad.
Because even think like Marvel, it's patient. Marvel is patient, and by being patient, their fans just get more and more hyped.
Right.
People have wanted the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers since the first one came out, but they waited.
Right.
They took their time. Guardians of the Galaxy didn't show up in Civil War.
Right.
And now you're finally going to get to see them show up in the Infinity War.
Right, like Marvel took their time, built their fan base, built their movies, built their universe.
Right.
Whereas DC, for whatever reason, thinks that they can just come in the middle of Marvel's height.
Yeah.
And try to derail Marvel. And it's like, you're clearly not.
Right.
You're going for a completely different type of Marvel. You're trying to hit a demographic that doesn't like Marvel because it's too light and happy. Mm-hmm. But that demographic is like 3 people.
Well, and even then, so like, say that's your demographic, the people that enjoy that these are grittier movies. Because it is, people do like that The Dark Knight was gritty and realistic.
Right.
So say that's what you're going for. You then, by making Justice League all campy and trying to be funny, you have now alienated the crew, serious crew that liked the seriousness of the movies. So by trying to flip-flop all the time and just follow what works for Marvel, it's like...
Yeah, which I can't believe that you can even think at this point that you can compete with Marvel.
Right. You have to you slowly do it. Like I said, it's the long game. It's like you build it up and it'll be worth it.
Yeah, you have to wait till... Either A, Marvel takes a break for a little bit while they try to get their next set going.
They're rolling those out.
That's the other thing, too.
There's going to be no break.
Marvel, like, I remember, what was it, this time last year?
Yeah. When
we talked about the phases of Marvel's release and what movies and everything like that. DC doesn't have that.
Yeah.
We can talk about Marvel movies for the next, how many years? 5 years?
Yeah.
5 years down the line, what movies are probably going to come out.
Yeah.
DC, they have no idea what they're going to put out.
Yeah.
They're like, well, we're going to do these handful, but we're going to change it and then do these, and then do those, and then do these, maybe do this. You know, like they're grasping for straws. Like, oh shit, what should we put out now? What should we put out now?
Right. Let's try this. Let's try jokes. Let's try action. Let's
try
all the characters. Let's try all the villains.
Yeah, I think they just... at this point, the ship is sinking too fast.
Yeah.
There's no saving it. What they should do... Yeah, Wonder Woman was great, but what they probably should is just scrap everything.
Yeah.
Scrap it all, restart from new. You can't save one movie if you're getting rid of the rest. Right. You know? It sucked that Wonder Woman was good and you have to get rid of it, but get rid of it, start...
Well, even then, they've already, like, slowed down. Because like they released Wonder Woman and Justice League last year. I'm pretty sure Aquaman's the only movie coming out this year. So they did slow it down big time. They supposedly like dropped the idea of Justice League being a second movie. Originally they were supposed to come out back to back years. There's no Man of Steel 2 in sight. They can't figure out if they have Affleck for a Batman movie. It's just like there's no plan.
Yeah. See, I would say, just to kind of start to end the podcast, I would say...
We're at 35 minutes.
Yeah. I would say the big reason, in my opinion, why Marvel does better than DC is Marvel took the time to establish a universe, and DC thought they could come in and people would like them just as much.
Right.
And they didn't, and they failed, and that's why Marvel's doing better.
Right. It would be like if Marvel came out with Iron Man. Like, think of it this way. They came out with Iron Man, Civil War, Thor 1, Avengers.
Yeah.
Like, that's like what it would have been like.
If you really think about it, that's god-awful. That's a terrible plan. DC, what are you doing?
Right. It would have been, to sum it up, patience is a virtue.
Yeah. If I could say one thing to DC, it would be, DC, take the acronym of DC and just don't continue. Just stop.
Well, you can't top that. So I
Yeah.
think we're going to end it right
Yeah, I think
there.
we're good. So once again, I'm Brooks.
I'm Joe.
And this is another episode, another podcast of Cantina Reviews Barside Chats.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, have a good one.